What's new? Get ready.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 25 of the Play to Win podcast. My name, of course, is Keiran, and I'm always joined by my awesome co-host, Tyler. How's it going?
It is going very well. Very, very well. Thank you for asking. It's been a good week. Not the busiest week in terms of work, but busy outside of work. Because was working on stuff. Didn't really get to play too much this week. But yeah, good week overall. I woke up feeling pretty good this morning. Not even gonna lie.
Nice. I'm doing pretty good. I have also had not a very busy week, so there's that.
See, that's nice. That's nice. And I'm also happy because this weekend I think is like the last weekend the weather is going to be like pretty hot, like really warm in the 80s. After I think Sunday, like it's going to start being like mid 70s as like the high or so, 50s and 60s for the low of the day. And I'm just like, that is the perfect weather. That's the weather I live for.
Yeah.
It's not too hot. It's not too cold. Just like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It is just right. And I live for that.
Nice. I live in Scotland, so it's always cold and rainy here.
Sorry. Except for now when you're roasting.
Yeah, it's actually kind of sunny today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, before we get into the episode proper, we do have a very special announcement to make that we kind of announced last week that we were going to be working on this. Our website is launching alongside this episode, so while you're watching, head over to playtowingames.wordpress.com. It will be in social media and in our Twitter bios and everything, so go and check there if you want the link. But playtowingames.wordpress.com is the website. You can go over there and check out what mostly Tyler, but I kind of helped out with as well.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of working on this week. And honestly, not even all this week. I did the bulk of it Sunday and then Monday night. And I did a little bit on Tuesday night. But after Tuesday, I didn't really have to do much more with it. Not saying that the site is like, on like IGN and GameSpot caliber in terms of like appearance and everything.
Yeah.
But it looks good. It looks nice. It's functional. Everything is clean and easy to understand. It's very easy to get to things and look at things and read things and so on and so forth. I think it looks good. Showed Keiran the ropes with it yesterday. We actually went like 2 hours doing that. I actually thought it'd only be an hour, but hey, like it went well. So and I got his, like, I guess you could say the Keiran thumb seal of approval on it. I knew I would. There you go. I got the 2 thumbs up right now. Like I knew I would, but no, yeah, it looks nice. Go over there and check it out. Like we said last week, the site, it's just it has, all the content that we have here on YouTube over there. It's just another home for it. Our reviews and previews, you'll have the written versions of them as well under the video version of the reviews. And of course, we'll also, again, like we said, every now and then, if we feel like we have something that we want to like actually talk about and write about over there, we'll post that up over there too. So it's just another home. It's another home for all things Play to Win. And also on the site, there is a page on the contact page. There is a little section there where you can, directly send us questions for question of the episode. If you have any questions that you want to ask us, or if you're interested in partnering with us or any type of thing like that, you can contact. That's the page where you can just another way for you to contact us and all. It's nice. Go give it a look and everything. It came out pretty well.
Yeah. And while you're checking out our stuff, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Play to Win Game. We'll get updates on the show. You can get to the website through there. The links will be in our bio. And yeah, it's fun times over there. Also, while you're on YouTube, remember to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you know when new videos go live. You can be one of the first people in the world to see the newest Play to Win game. With all that being said, I'm going to quickly go over what we'll be covering in this episode, which is Activision Blizzard has been sued again. The recent Nvidia Datamine revealed some stuff which we'll talk about. And finally, we will most likely very briefly talk about the THQ Nordic Showcase because not a lot to talk about there. Before that, however, we do have a few brief mentions to get through, so I'm just going to read these. I'm not going to go too much in depth with them.
First a few is a bit of an understatement.
Some Redfall images leaked on Twitter last week.
Yeah.
You can go, I don't know if they're still up or not, but you can go and you can look at what the pre-alpha state of Redfall looks like. The Deathloop reviews are very, very good. I'll rattle off a couple here. GameSpot 10 out of 10, Video Game Chronicle 5 out of 5, VG 24/7 5 out of 5, Game Informer 9 out of 10, IGN 10 out of 10. It's been scoring very, very well, and I'm very happy for the team at Arcane that their game is doing very well.
Yeah, me too. I wasn't gonna read any reviews for the game at first. I was thinking before it came out, maybe I'll do a review of it. And then that morning I saw IGN's 10. I was like, wait, what? Like, again, I thought the game would score well. Never in my wildest imaginations I think it was gonna get like perfect scores like this and everything. So I have read theirs and I was just like, oh man, well, I'm happy I pre-ordered it. It's a shame I haven't really gotten to play it that much this week. So like when we get to what we've been playing, like I'll talk about like the hour and change I've played of the game, which is honestly nowhere near enough to actually give like a nice impression of like my thoughts on it. It's like just super top level thoughts. But I have enjoyed what I've done so far, and I'm very eager to like get to the point where it is like this game of the year game that many people are talking about.
Interesting note also that technically the first Xbox Game Studios game to get a 10 in a fair while, at least.
Technically, yes.
Technically. It's not on Xbox current.
Like, well, that's the thing. Like, it's an Xbox Studios game since it's by Arcane and they're now under Microsoft. But at the same time, this game was definitely it was in development way before.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like, that's why, like, I've seen people say the thing like, it's crazy how Xbox Studios put out Game of the Year on PS5 and everything. I see it, I'm like, I get the joke, but that's also a bit bit disingenuous at the same time. Like, it's a bit disingenuous.
Carnage joins Fortnite for the new season. You can also play as Venom, I believe.
He's not in this season. I think he was already in the game in the past, but like he's not for this season.
Okay, I thought in the IGN article I read that you could also find the Venom symbiote as well. I don't know. I
could have swore Venom was already added to the game, but Carnage, he's not in the battle pass. I can tell you that for sure.
Okay. Some of the Little Big Planet servers have been shut down permanently, specifically for the PS3 and Vita.
Yep. Little Big Planet 1, 2, 3, and the Vita Little Big Planet specifically, because the games were just getting like hacked real badly. So it's messing with the online community and all. So like they were like, we got to shut the servers down in order to be able to like, even for the sake of the game, we have to take the servers offline. So the PS4 version of Little Big Planet 3 is still online. That's still fine. But the PS3 and Vita for Little Big Planets 1 through 3 and whatever the Vita game is, they're down. They're done for.
Sorry, my family just got home and they're being quite loud.
I see. You're good though. It's all right. It's fine.
Okay. Insomniac's Wolverine will be a full-size game and will have a mature tone. That's really all they went into.
Yep.
The PS5 second major update is out now, and it will allow you to use external SSDs finally.
Yes, which is very nice. And I'm not getting one just yet, but it's really cool. You know what I think is also another nice feature of this update? You can now turn off the little on-screen notification when you capture a screenshot. Because in the past, whenever you took a screenshot, a little thing popped up there on the screen like saying, hey, you got a screenshot. But if you want to do multiple back-to-back, then you just had multiple notifications in the following screenshots. So now you can turn that off, which is beautiful because now I can like record gameplay and take screenshots and not have to be like, man, but this is going to be in the video. I don't want that in the video. I could just do my heart's content.
That is quite a nice feature, actually. Call of Duty 2022 is rumored to be a Modern Warfare sequel, and the campaign will focus on the war on drugs. A couple of games got delayed. Dying Light 2 has been delayed to February 4th, 2022, and Battlefield 2042 has been delayed to November 19th, 2021. I don't think it's any surprise to anyone that Dying Light 2 was delayed again, but hey ho.
I think it's not a surprise that Battlefield got delayed because I mean we haven't heard about that game in a bit. Like they've been super quiet. The beta was supposed to be this month, and they hadn't said a word about the beta at all.
Yeah.
So like it's not surprised that got delayed. Dying Light 2 is a bit of a surprise. What's also a bit of a surprise is that it got delayed to February, the month that also has Destiny 2 Witch Queen and Saints Row and Horizon Forbidden West and Sifu, all within like a 1.5 week time span. Just all the games in February now. Why don't you?
Yeah.
You know, just put more in there.
Yeah, just basically condense all of 2022's releases into February.
Hey Nintendo, you want to announce that Breath of the Wild sequel is dropping on like February 12th? Wanted to announce that. Side note, if they announce that and I was right, I am going to be absolutely amazed and livid at the same time.
Yeah. I think it might be due like $1 if you got that right.
Hold on, let me actually see what day of the week February 12th is. February 12th, that is a hold on. All right, no, not the 12th because that's a Saturday. I want to say February 11th is a Friday. So either February 11th, the 8th, or the 15th, because the 8th and the 15th are Tuesdays. One of those days.
Okay. Xbox has revealed their date and time for their Tokyo Game Showcase that will air on Thursday, September 30th, 6 p.m. JST, 5 a.m. EST, 2 a.m. PST, and 10 a.m. GMT, if you want to watch that. In other Xbox news, they are reportedly set to announce another major acquisition. I put this as a brief mention because we know nothing about it so far. It's like take this with a huge grain of salt. But I have seen multiple people online saying it's Take-Two, which would be, I don't know.
I feel like I've heard people mention that. I wasn't sure where this came from at all. I would hope to God this is not true. And just no. We don't need this to happen.
Exactly.
Because when is the conversation again? I said it before, I'm not going to go down the rant again, but when is the conversation around monopolization in games industry going to happen? We're all cool with it with Bethesda. I wonder if it's going to happen with Take-Two. Because Take-Two owns Rockstar. Take-Two owns 2K, if I'm correct.
Yep.
That's a whole lot of stuff right there that just immediately becomes under one umbrella, and that's not okay.
Yeah, I agree. But if that, again, I think I've said this last week or the week before, if that situation updates itself, we will be sure to update all of you. A former Halo composer Marty O'Donnell had been charged with contempt of court over the use of Destiny music, and his legal fees could cost up to $100,000.
That's a lot of money. I haven't read into this, but I heard about it, and that's just wild.
The Switch now supports Bluetooth audio, so you can use Bluetooth headsets.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's fantastic. Like finally, for a console like the Switch, like you would have thought it'd be there a long time ago, but here we are, 4.5 years later. Yeah, better late than never, I guess.
Warzone hardware bans are possibly being carried over to Call of Duty Vanguard. The latest PlayStation acquisition, Firespite Games, is apparently working on a AAA narrative adventure game. Who would have thought?
I wonder what it's going to be.
Yeah,
interesting.
I'm interested.
I guess that shuts down the rumors of a new Wipeout from them, though. So
yeah. And finally, Deltarune Chapter 2 released yesterday. Creator Toby Fox also announced that Chapters 3 to 5 will release at the same time, at which point the game will need to be purchased in order to be played. There will seemingly be 7 chapters total for the game. For those of you who don't know who Toby Fox is, he made Undertale.
Yep. So if you played Undertale, you like it, you're already on top of this. You're already on top of this. You're already aware of this. You probably played Deltarune like 5 times by the time you hear this.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a big thing that happened. And as we said before the show, this would have been a main story if either of us played Undertale or Deltarune, but neither of us do. So it's just relegated to a brief mention. We're sorry, Undertale and Deltarune fans.
Yeah. That will conclude our brief mentions, which means we can get on to our first main news story.
Yes.
First main news story being that Activision Blizzard has been sued again, this time by employees. I'm going to read quite a bit from a Vice article written by Lorenzo Franceschi Bacceria. I hope I pronounced his name right. I'm sorry if I didn't. So reading from the article saying, quote, Activision Blizzard workers are accusing the company of, quote, intimidation and union busting, end quote, in a charge filed with the National Labor Relations Board. The workers argue that, quote, Activision Blizzard management is using coercive tactics to attempt to prevent its employees from exercising their rights to stand together and demand a more equal, sustainable, and diverse workplace, end quote, according to a press release sent out to reporters on Tuesday. The workers have filed an unfair labor practice charge with the NLRB against the company on Friday. The Communications Workers of America's campaign to organize digital employees are supporting the Activision Blizzard workers. In the charging document, the workers allege that, quote, within the last 6 months, the above-named employer has repeatedly engaged in unlawful conduct by threatening employees and, quote, told employees they cannot communicate with or discuss ongoing investigations of wages, hours, and working conditions, maintained an overly broad social media policy, enforced a social media policy against employees who have engaged in protected concerted activity, threatened or disciplined employees on account of protected concerted activity, engaged in surveillance of employees engaged in protected concerted activity, and engaged in interrogation of employees about protected concerted activity, end quote. A little bit further down the article says, a current Activision Blizzard employee who asked to remain anonymous as they feared retaliation said that some employees have recently been told their performance was not up to par by their lead, even though they had been doing well. The employee said, quote, we think since they're being so outspoken, leadership is trying to get rid of them. As a result of these tactics, the employee said, quote, I've noticed some people have gone completely silent, quote, end quote, or even quit the company and the games industry altogether. Quote, we've seen retaliation already, they said in an online chat. Quote, so I'm scared, end quote. This is a bad situation, again, for Activision Blizzard. Like, they can't catch a break, but I'm 100% on the side of the employees. It's completely unfair that they are being treated this way. It goes back to everything we've been saying over the past number of weeks about the original Activision Blizzard lawsuit in which they're being sued against discriminating against women in the workplace and fostering a frat boy culture. So they deserve this. I'm not gonna lie.
No, yeah, definitely. And they're out here just, trying to shut down workers, talking about what's going on and talking about what their situation is in terms of, like it says here, how much money they make, the hours they work, what their conditions working there are like. They're like having like this real broad social media policy, and they're enforcing it like on people who I guess have been speaking out against the company and what's been going on over there, all the retaliation that's going on and stuff. It's not good. It paints a picture of Activision trying to make this go away by silencing as many people as they can in the company, by saying like, you can talk about this, but not this. You can talk about this, but not that. Be careful talking about this. Don't you dare talk about that. We're watching you if you talk about this. We're watching what you say over here and there and there and there. And like they say in their statements in the past, we want to be. I'm paraphrasing here because I don't remember what they said, but we want to be better. We want to foster a good work culture. We're going to make these changes or what have you. We're bringing in these people to help with this, and we're getting rid of these people, and so on and so forth. But then it turns out, you're doing these things where you're retaliating against people who are speaking out. You're enforcing really strict rules to kind of prevent people from speaking out and all. And that just speaks to the opposite of you actually wanting to work with your employees to make the company better, make their lives better, make their working conditions better. And it makes it seem like they are just trying to, I don't want to say enforce the status quo that's been going on for so long, but make it so that no one knows about what's happening. So that because obviously this has been like a giant mess for Activision. It's been, terrible for, their image and all. It's been, I'm sure it's been really hard on like all the employees there just from like a morale perspective. But at the end of the day, Activision is more so focused on making money, and how this will affect them making money. And they're not going to want this to affect their money, so they're going to want to try to quiet this as much as possible. It's why we saw them kind of removing their name from some of the Call of Duty trailers that were coming out as Vanguard was announced and revealed and all like that. They're trying to like distance themselves from their cash cow. That way people kind of just like wouldn't be aware of what was going on or try and minimize the awareness of it. It's all just really shady and slimy what's going on over there at Activision. And like I want the best for everyone over there. I want the company to be a successful company, a place where people are happy to work, a company that puts out great games, and so forth, so on and so forth. I don't want the company to like fall apart. You never want any company to like just fall apart, go down to the dumps or anything like that. But like you gotta do something here. You gotta do something. You gotta actually like put your money where your mouth is. You say that you're gonna do these things to make things better. Actually do those things to make things better.
Yeah.
Don't say one thing with your fingers crossed behind your back and then end up shutting things down. It's just terrible.
Yeah, no, it's basically Blizzard saying, hey, this is the way it's done. This is the way we do things. If you don't like it, shut up, get on with your work, or leave. That's basically the only options they're giving people. It's not fair. No person should feel uncomfortable or scared or fearful when they go to work. I just don't understand how it got to this point. I can't comprehend how for so many years they let all this stuff happen and nobody did anything, even with complaints being made to management, even with complaints being made to upper level people. I don't understand how nothing was done. And basically anyone who spoke out was like told to shut up, basically. I really hate the entire situation. I mean, I've said before, I'm not buying another Activision Blizzard game until they can show they have implemented meaningful change in the company is kind of my key for getting back into Blizzard games. And this makes me think that isn't going to be for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm reading here the end again, and this part here where one employee says, quote, "I've noticed some people have gone completely silent," end quote, or even quit the company in the games industry altogether. And like, that's really sad. That's really sad and damning, because like the games industry, making games could be something that someone is incredibly passionate about. But a situation like this where people can't speak out about the wrongdoings that are going on at their company because they're going to be retaliated against. It's sad that's driving people to leave the company, one, but even sadder is that's like driving them to just leave the industry entirely and go somewhere else. Like just leaving the thing that they're passionate about, that they love doing, that they love making, that they love being in, like this, and surrounded by games and people that like making games and playing games, just to have to leave that because your company is bullying you into silence, in a sense. It's just really sad and shameful. And like going to the very end here, this one employee here said that the mood among colleagues and other workers who are part of the alliance has been hopeful for change, but that they don't think it will come from leadership. And then that person says, quote, "They're keeping us in the dark," end quote. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of something I've thought all this time. Like, you hope for change, and you hope that the change will come from the ones up at the top, the ones in charge of the company. But given the situation, given who is at the top, given how things have been handled, it's always kind of been very unlikely that the change would come from leadership. And the change would have to be coming from the employees within, bringing about the change and driving the change and forcing the change to happen, as opposed to leadership seeing what's going on and saying, okay, these are the things that we need to do. to change as a company. This is what we're going to do to implement that change. Here's how we're going to proceed this month, this year, so on and so forth, until we are in a better place. And it seems like either that change is not going to come at all, or it'll be a very long time before that change comes, 2. Or 3, like I said, it will be the employees forcing this change to happen. Like not like the company, I guess not willingly is not the right word, but not the company being the one driving the change or enforcing the change, like I said. But again, them basically having no choice but to change because the employees are making it happen.
Yeah, and like the 2 things that are gonna, I think, kind of drive that change are, 1, the employees, because they're the ones who are inside the company. They can probably have their voices heard the most, hopefully. 2 is, like, I mean, we talked about this previously, like sponsors pulling out of, like, basically money being taken away from them, because T-Mobile has already pulled out as a sponsor for Call of Duty and the Overwatch League. So I imagine that's a fair chunk of change they've taken with them. And that's probably going to have people at Blizzard like, we need that sponsorship back. We need to do something. But from the news that comes out of Activision and like of this entire situation, I should say, most often, it doesn't make me hopeful for change anytime soon. I had something else I was going to say, but I can't remember what it was.
Yeah. I mean, like I said before, in one of the previous episodes, change like this doesn't happen overnight. We're not expecting the change to happen overnight. We're not expecting to like hear that the company has grown a loon leaf by December 2021 or anything like that. We're not expecting that. But, we're at least expecting signs of progress to be made over the course of these months and all. Not signs of, hey, not just necessarily signs, but news of, hey, you can't talk about this. You can't talk about that. Don't talk this. Don't talk that. We're watching you. We're gonna retaliate against you because you've been outspoken on social media about what's been going on here, and that's not okay. So we're gonna give you a bad evaluation, although you've actually been a great employee.
Yeah,
like that's terrible. That's not. That's just wrong. It's just wrong. It's as simple as that. There's no other word for it. It's just wrong. It's wrong and it's messed up. And this is all by wanting to silence this and keep things quiet. I feel like more is going to come out. Yeah. And it's just going to be worse for Activision Blizzard the more they try and keep people quiet about this, as opposed to working with their employees to bring about the necessary change at that company.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it sounds like Blizzard is kind of acting like a child in a playground where everyone's like, no, like this is wrong. You need to change. And the kid's like, no, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm totally in the right. Like this is exactly how they're acting. In this article, it says another current employee said that, quote, Blizzard has been hemorrhaging people, end quote, in the last few weeks, referring to employees quitting the company in the wake of the harassment allegations. And I would imagine that for a lot of people who are like just getting into gaming or in the games industry, whether it be as an artist, as a developer, as a writer, whatever it may be, Blizzard is one of those companies that's like the dream job, because it's one of the biggest companies in the industry who make some of the biggest games in the industry. And after this, like, either I imagine people are going to, get a job at the company, realize how bad it is and then leave, or they're just not going to apply for Blizzard anymore because of what all the news has been coming out is. And by them trying to silence their employees, saying, no, we're not in the wrong, you have to shut up, they've made things 10 times worse for themselves.
Right. They really have. I like this quote here. I actually didn't know this bottom half of the article was here. I thought it ended earlier in the article, but I like this quote here. Says it's from one of the another employee over at the company saying, quote, I'm so glad to see the CWA supporting and protecting my coworkers from these coercive and isolating tactics. It is important that people know their rights and that they have the ability to enforce those rights. People should not fear for their jobs because they are speaking up to be treated with humanity, end quote. And I think like that is no matter everything, out of everything that we've said here, that is basically the core of what we are trying to say here.
Yeah.
Myself and Keiran, that's the core of what we're trying to get at. And that's the core of, like, I feel like what everyone has been saying since this came out, that Activision Blizzard retaliating or threatening retaliation or being like this all-seeing eye over the employees, like, that shouldn't be a worry for the people at the company, because they want to speak up and say, hey, treat me like a decent human being.
Yeah.
Treat me like treat me like you would treat anyone else that you actually care about and love. Like, is this what you would do to, say, any of your family members? Is that how you would treat them? So on and so forth. Just treat me with some basic common decency, some basic humanity. That's all we want. And that is what we are speaking up for. That's what we are fighting for here. People, as I say here, people should not be worried that their jobs will be in jeopardy for speaking up about this.
Yeah.
And the fact that people are in fear, the fact that people are leaving the company in just waves and waves, the fact that people are leaving the industry entirely because of this, all speaks towards how messed up this entire thing is and how badly Activision Blizzard is handling it, how badly things are over there. And they just simply need a lot of, as we've said it before, we're going to keep saying this, a lot of change needs to happen over Activision Blizzard. And it needs to happen soon.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can't remember the exact analogy that I think I said when we were originally talking about it, but they need to burn the house down in order to rebuild.
Basically, they basically do.
Yes, I think that's everything we have to say on the new Activision Blizzard lawsuit that is happening. It is probably worth noting that they are still being sued by the Department of Fair Housing and Employment. Fair Employment and Housing.
Sounds about right. Yes, I believe it's it.
Still being sued by them for a toxic work environment, including sexual discrimination against women and
sexual harassment as well.
Yeah. A whole slew of awful and indecent and absolutely terrible things that, if you want to hear more about, go watch the episode we did on it or read the lawsuit online. I'm sure you can find it somewhere.
Yeah, we've talked about this a whole lot on the show. There are like 3 episodes back to back where we talk about Activision Blizzard stuff. So,
moving on to our second story, there was an Nvidia Datamine of GeForce Now that has mentioned quite a number of games, that some of which we knew about, a lot of which we didn't, if they are real. I put in here that the list I have below, the list I'm going to read out, is from a Reddit post by user Last Grail. As stated in that post, some of these projects may be cancelled or simply testing data. I also have not included all the games on the list, just the ones I think are the most noteworthy. So take some of these games with a huge grain of salt. Like, some of these are very obvious that they are not happening, at least not anytime soon, or they could have been cancelled. There's one in here that I'm just like, nah, no way. No, 100%.
I wonder what that one is. But yeah, this whole thing is very fascinating. And if any of this, here's the thing, it's very possible that many of these are real because we've heard about many of these already.
Yeah.
Not many, but some of these we've heard about already. Some of them, like, you could just stand to reason it would happen anyway. So it's not that big a surprise that it's here. But nevertheless, the fact that all these things came out in a leak, real or not, canceled or not, testing project or not, the fact that all this came out in one giant leak is wild. And I hope whoever accidentally leaked this is doing okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if they still have their job. I hope that they're doing fine.
I would definitely imagine they don't have their job anymore.
I imagine so as well.
Which is unfortunate. Like, as much as like I'm laughing during saying that, it is unfortunate they lost their job.
If they did, we don't know.
If they did, yeah, we don't know. It's also worth noting, I think, before we start getting to this, that some of these games might also just be Nvidia speculating and guessing as to what people are working on. So we'll start off with PlayStation. This Reddit post mentions several PlayStation exclusives, such as God I was going to say God of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima.
I mean, by the end of the game, you can feel like a god of Tsushima with how strong you are if you're good at the game.
Such as Ghost of Tsushima, God of War, Returnal, Horizon Forbidden West, and more. The Reddit post does note that it could take years for these games to come to PC if they come to PC at all.
Yeah. I will say if it's God of War and Returnal, there's a chance maybe, because I don't know if it was just from the leak. So all these are blurring together, but I could have swore I saw sometime this week that God of War Returnal were like listed on Steam somewhere, like in like a database leak or something like that.
Yeah.
I could be wrong about that, and I could just be mixing it up with this. But I mean, hey, God of War and Returnal to PC, that'd be wild. Any of these PlayStation games coming to PC, that'd be really cool. But it'd also be like, wow, bringing them to PC, all right.
Yeah.
Horizon Forbidden West, if that happens, that ain't happening until 2024 at the earliest.
Oh, I would have,
because I mean, PlayStation's not bringing the. Oh yeah, I mean 2025. I was gonna say that first, but I was like, I'll do 2 years instead. But 2025 is more likely,
Yeah, like
unless they like feel like changing their stance on things. Because I mean, think about Days Gone came out 2019. That came to PC this year. That's only 2 years.
Yeah.
Granted, lower, not as like critically receptive as God of War and Returnal. So that could also be part of it. But I mean, PlayStation could just change their stance, be like, hey, we'll bring them 2 years instead of 3 years or something like that.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was away to say is like Days Gone. Like, yes, it's still PlayStation exclusive, but in like the ladder of PlayStation exclusives where you have like God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, Horizon, I feel like Days Gone is like down here somewhere.
Yeah, Uncharted, The Last of Us is definitely
Yeah.
on the lower end of PS4 and PlayStation exclusives.
Yeah.
Still a good game though, overall.
Yeah. But yeah, these games might come to PC at some point. I would imagine not for quite some time in terms of a couple of these.
Yeah.
Microsoft in this section mentions Oxide unannounced, an untitled The Initiative game, although I have a feeling that's Perfect Dark. I don't know mainly because I don't know if it's just called Perfect Dark or if they're still like quite early in development that they haven't come up with a full name of it yet. I don't know. But I feel like
this, it either is Perfect Dark and they just like for some reason don't have a title here in it.
Yeah.
Or it's a different game. Because I mean, I'm pretty sure the game's name is Perfect Dark. Like that's what they announced. I doubt it's gonna be like, we're gonna announce it as Perfect Dark, but it's actually called Joanna Dark Perfect Zero or something like that. Like I'm Perfect Dark, I'm almost like 100% positive that's the name.
Yeah.
So it's most likely this is something entirely different. That they're probably pre-production, like early pre-production on like something else over there.
Yeah. What was I? There was a few code-named games. However, we may have some clarity as to what these are. Project Holland is believed to be Fable, and Project Typhoon is believed to be Contraband. Both of these are backed by Jez Corden on Twitter.
There was one more you didn't put here. That one being Woodstock,
which is Forza.
Right, Forza Horizon.
Yeah.
Not sure if that's Horizon 5 or what would possibly be Horizon 6. But yes, that was another one as well.
Yeah. Square Enix mentions Final Fantasy VII Remake, Final Fantasy IX Remake, Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster, Chrono Cross Remaster, and Kingdom Hearts 4, as well as one unannounced project and more. Tyler, any thoughts on Kingdom Hearts 4?
All right, so Kingdom Hearts 4, if that is the name of the next Kingdom Hearts game, I mean, okay, it being a thing is not a surprise. It being called Kingdom Hearts 4, if that is the actual name, I guess you could be a bit of a surprise because with Kingdom Hearts, you get all types of games in between numbered entries and stuff, so you never know if the next one's actually 4 or whatnot. But if it is coming to PC day and date as consoles, that'd be a surprise because that'd be the first time it happened. With the other Square Enix games, 7 Remake, I mean, we imagine it's coming to PC already at some point in time, so that's not really a surprise. 9 remake, that is a bigger surprise. That's a huge surprise because no one. I mean, all right. Let me rephrase this. After 7 remake was announced, people wondered, are we going to get remakes of other Final Fantasy games? Then 7 remake came out. It was so well received. It's like, are we going to get remakes of other Final Fantasy games? And if so, when would that happen? Like, how much priority is 7 remake taking? 9 is one of those where I've talked about this before, not on the show, but like on Twitter and with other people. Of all the Final Fantasy games that should get a remake and that would likely get a remake from Square Enix, it would be 6, 9, and 10. Reason being, those are 3 of the most beloved Final Fantasy games. 6 from obviously the SNES days and all like that would be the most deserving of a remake. It would look drastically different, drastically better, and everything like that. 9 would be I always thought of 6, 10, and 9. 9 would be third likely to get a remake because 6 and 10 generally are seen as like more praised and more beloved than 9 is. But 9 is still one of the most loved Final Fantasy games. So like 10 could use a remake, like in the style of 7, but it also doesn't need one. It doesn't need one because the game is already like really, really great as it is, but it could use one. Like it could benefit from one. 9 could benefit from one just like 7 could. So if they're doing 9, that's actually really cool and interesting. And I'd be really excited for that. I actually have 9 on my PS5. I haven't I have it in my library. I haven't like actually started playing it yet. I bought it like months ago. So there's that. 16. I mean, we've all kind of assumed it's coming to PC ever since it was announced. When it was first announced last year, I think the first trailer that dropped for it, not during the showcase, but like the single version upload of it, accidentally had like coming to PC at a later date or something like that. So like everyone's already figured 16 is coming to PC at some point. Tactics Remaster and Chrono Cross Remaster. Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster, again, Final Fantasy Tactics is a game that fans of Final Fantasy who have played it dearly love that game and have been wanting it to come back in some way, shape, or form. So if it's getting a remaster, that will make so many people happy. Chrono Cross, it's not Chrono Trigger. And as I understand, Chrono Trigger is the one that's more beloved between that and Cross. But if Chrono Cross does get a remaster, I know there will be a lot of people happy about that as well. And hoping that, hey, maybe that means the Chrono series will be coming back. So the Square Enix things here are actually very exciting and very interesting. I think they're more interesting and exciting than the Microsoft and PlayStation ones, to be quite honest.
100%.
Like, I know you're not the biggest Square Enix guy, especially with the games that are listed here, but these are way more exciting and interesting than the other ones that we've mentioned so far.
There was also I can't remember the exact wording of it. I'll open up the thing here, but it was a Tomb Raider. Yeah,
Tomb Raider Anniversary thing. I'm pulling it up right now as well. Tomb Raider Anniversary. So that says for this year. Who knows what it's supposed to be or when it would come and stuff like that. But yeah. Ooh, also real quick, I forgot, since we're here, I have this pulled up. You mentioned Gear 6 already, right?
I did not.
Well, Gear 6 is one of the things on the list here for Microsoft. Again, not a surprise. Like you imagine it's already in development and stuff, and it's coming at some point in time. Halo 5 Guardians is on this list. After the leak came out, though, 343 was like, no, not happening. We're not doing it. Yeah. And I actually was surprised because I guess I always thought Halo 5 Guardians was already on PC, but I guess it's not. And I'm surprised that they had no intention to bring it to PC if true. Because all the other Halo games are on PC, right?
Yeah, I mean, Master Chief Collection is on PC.
So I don't get why they wouldn't want to bring 5.
Yeah.
Like, I get it's the black sheep of the series by like a country mile, but I'm surprised they wouldn't want to.
Yeah. Just I'll rattle off a couple more Xbox ones that I quite frankly forgot to put in. Avowed, Kalimba, Indus, and Gravity. I don't know. I mean, obviously we know what Avowed is. It's Obsidian's new Skyrim-esque RPG. I guess you could say.
It's a fantasy one in not Age of Empire. Oh gosh.
Pillars of Eternity.
There you go. I'm sitting here. I'm like, I know it's something of something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in that realm. Again, that's a game Microsoft brings the games to PC day and date. This is not a surprise that it would be there.
Yeah, I don't know what these. I think
These ones.
Kalimba, Indus, and Gravity, I assume, are code names.
Oh
for
yeah,
games.
100%. They're
Yeah,
definitely code names. Maybe Gravity's a code name for Starfield, but I imagine they would have just said the name Starfield anyway. So who
yeah.
knows? Think prototypes happen all the time. These things may come to pass or not.
Yeah. Moving on to Capcom, there's only 4 games mentioned here, which is Resident Evil 4 Remake, Street Fighter 6, Dragon's Dogma 2, and Monster Hunter 6. I imagine people are very happy to hear about Resident Evil 4 Remake and Monster Hunter 6. I don't know of the fan base. I mean, obviously, Street Fighter 6 and Dragon's Dogma, just in general, Street Fighter and Dragon's Dogma are big games. But to me, the only ones I would be remotely interested in are RE4 Remake and Monster Hunter 6.
I actually know nothing about the Dragon's Dogma fan base at all. So I didn't know it was a big one, if it is a big one. Obviously, Street Fighter 6, that's a big deal when and whenever it happens. Yeah. Bigger question is, when it happens, is it going to be exclusive to PlayStation again on console like 5 was? That'll be the bigger question.
Yeah.
Curious to see what happens with that. But yeah, another Monster Hunter, again, it's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
And I wonder how big this next one's going to be, given the popularity of World and then Rise on Switch. This next one, I think, is going to be it's going to do big numbers, I feel like. World just expanded the series to so many more people, and then Rise again as well on Switch. It's whatever the next mainline Monster Hunter game is, it's going to be huge. Yeah. RE4 Remake, of course, it's going to be huge just off the name alone, and you hope it's as good as the original.
Yeah, I'm going back to your Monster Hunter point. I'm interested to see what a Monster Hunter game is going to look like, specifically built for next gen.
Oh my gosh. I played the beta for Monster Hunter World before it came out, and I was like, cool, not for me, mainly because I was like, oh, this is a game where it'd be best playing it with other people.
Yeah.
I didn't really have other people to play with. So I was like, all right, cool, is what it is. But man, I was always amazed, impressed, oh wow, you got the monsters here, the open environments, they're huge, they're big, they're cool. A next gen only Monster Hunter. That'll be something to look at, to marvel at.
Moving on to Take-Two, the games that are mentioned in their category are GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas remasters, a BioShock RTX remaster, and a BioShock 2022. This means there are 2 on this list I absolutely do not believe.
Which ones are those?
No, well, 2 on the entire list, but BioShock 22 is one of them.
Wait, what do you mean? Why don't you believe that?
Because they were hiring a writer for it not long ago.
I didn't realize they were hiring a writer for it not long ago, but I know this game has been in development for a couple of years now.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I don't think it's early in development. I just do not think it is releasing next year. No way.
I think that they are planning to release it next year, and I think it can, given just how long this game has been in development.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure it was in development before we heard about the studio that was making it. So, and I forgot the timeline on all this, but I feel like we first heard about this game in 2019. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I'm gonna think that 2022 is a possibility. If it's happened, if that is the case, if that is what their goal is, I think that is a realistic goal. Will it get bumped to 2023 given COVID and everything? Very likely.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I want a new BioShock game as soon as possible because BioShock is a really, really good game series. I really don't think it's releasing next year. But I would love to be wrong on that. I would love to be wrong.
You know what I would love to see? I would love to see what this BioShock RTX remaster looks like.
Yeah.
Because the first BioShock, again, played it on PS3. Really great looking game. Have not played it since then, but all the atmosphere and the lighting and everything, just really good. And I can only imagine what certain scenes would look like with RTX, ray tracing and everything. It was the freight when you first enter the city of Rapture, when you go to when you're in the you meet the doctor and you're going down the the waterlogged hall, and then you see the shadow and then the lights go out, that scene. The scene where I forgot the guy's name, but the dude with the mask, the theatrical guy with the mask, when he comes on down the stairs and everything, just all these different scenes, Big Daddy. Just I can only imagine what Rapture would look like with all the ray tracing and stuff. I also wonder if this would be a PC only thing or if this would be like a next gen remaster as well.
Because
it says RTX, I imagine it'd be PC only.
That's exactly what I was about to say. But yeah, would you kindly give me BioShock now, please? BioShock reference for anyone who didn't get it. Okay, EA mentions a Mirror's Edge RTX remaster, an unannounced Respawn game, which we know that Respawn is working on something, and Titanfall 3. Now, Respawn have said that no Titanfall games are currently in development. So, no on that third one.
It could be a prototype, as I said. It could be a prototype.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, a lot of these, I mean, like I said at the start, a lot of these are probably either like market, I don't know if market
like
research
guesses.
Either market research or speculation, guesses, or testing data, or perhaps cancelled. I don't know, but Respawn did come out. I can't remember how long ago, saying that no Titanfall games are currently in development.
Yeah, which I mean makes sense. You know,
yeah,
they got Apex making all the money for them.
Yeah, exactly. And with the state that Titanfall 2 is in, I doubt they want to bring any attention to Titanfall right now.
I think that it came out that there's only like one or two people working on Titanfall 1 and 2 right now. I think something like that.
Yeah. Basically, Titanfall 2 has been abandoned by EA. You can't, like, the game has been hacked beyond belief. There was a an Apex hack that went on month and a half ago, something like that. Yeah, it was like save Titanfall 2, stuff like that. So I think they're going to want to distance themselves from Titanfall just there. As for the Mirror's Edge RTX remaster, I 100% believe that's a thing. I would be surprised if it wasn't, considering that Mirror's Edge is a very cult classic game. So
you see, I would love for it to be a thing because I absolutely adored and fell in love with the first Mirror's Edge. Like, it's a short game. It's like, but it does what it does very well, and it's so much fun. The second one, not as good. Not as good as the first one, unfortunately. And because of that, I would not be surprised if EA is like, we're done with Mirror's Edge. If they just put it on ice and like they don't even bother doing an RTX remaster for Mirror's Edge for the first one. They're just like, it is what it is. We're not going to try and bring it back. It was like, we tried to bring it back with Catalyst. Didn't really work all that well. Was leave the series as it is. And, maybe bring it back in the future sometime like Dead Space, like we're doing with that. But I mean, even with Catalyst was like a reboot because the first one came out in 2009, and this one, Catalyst came out 2016, I think. So I want that to be real so badly. I don't think it is though. I just don't think it is. I don't know if EA is going to want to do anything else with Mirror's Edge for now. EA or DICE for that matter. Yeah. Not to say that they would have to have DICE do it, but
yeah. We will. I mean, as with all these, we'll have to wait and see. But I wouldn't be surprised if they have at least an RTX remaster for it in the works. Okay, that kind of concludes my list of the specific publishers. But I do have a somewhat lengthy list of notable games that are also included in this leak. So I'm going to rattle through these, then we can talk about it afterwards. Okay, so other notable games include Tekken 8, Crisis 4, Human Fall Flat 2, Bayonetta 3, Batman Arkham Knight RTX Remaster, Half-Life 2 Remastered, XCOM 3, Injustice 3 Gods Will Fall, Destroy All Humans 3, Payday 3, Modern Warfare 3 Remastered, Mortal Kombat Next Gen and Mortal Kombat 12, and Goat Simulator. Goat Simulator 2. One of these games is my other, there is absolutely no way this is happening. Can you guess which one it is?
It's Bayonetta 3. There's not a chance that is coming that's coming to PC. Not a chance. Nintendo's publishing that game. You're not getting that on PC.
Not the one that I was thinking.
Okay, so you and I are just not on the same wavelength right now because I don't see why that wouldn't be one of the ones you would say. Bayonetta 3 is not coming to PC. Bayonetta 2 is not. Bayonetta 3 for certain is not. Okay. Hold on. Let me go back to read what you have here. You said one of these other ones is your other one where you're like, you don't believe it. It's not happening.
There is absolutely no way.
All right, I'm gonna guess it is either. I'm gonna guess it's either Half-Life or Crisis. It's one of those two.
It's Crisis. There is no way they are making a Crisis 4. For the amount of time that we have been asking and begging and pleading Crytek for a Crisis 4, they have not made one. There is no way that they are making a Crisis 4.
Here's my counter argument to that, okay? Here's my counter argument to it. While they are not making the remasters, Saber Interactive, if I'm correct, is the one doing the remasters for 2 and 3. That signifies some sort of renewed interest in the series. So it's possible that they could be doing a 4th. Because that's also why I said Half-Life 2 was my other thought for you. Because no one would have ever thought Valve was going to go back to Half-Life. And then we got Alex. And Valve is saying, yeah, we want to do more stuff in the Half-Life universe.
Yeah.
So a Half-Life 2 remaster seems likely. Seems like it could happen. You know, we might not get Half-Life 3 for a very long time, but a Half-Life 2 remaster seems like it could happen, given the renewed interest in Half-Life from Valve. So Crisis 4, while I'm not saying it's 100% going to happen, or I 100% think it could happen or will happen, I'm more in mind with you, where like, yeah, this probably not going to happen. Crytek is like doing other stuff that's not Crisis. But this renewed, if it wasn't for these recent remasters, I would 100% be on your side. But because these recent remasters, I'm like, maybe we'll be getting another one. I hope so. Crisis 2 was amazing. 3 was really fun. Give me the 4th one, please.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, I want more than anything to believe that this is real, because Crisis is like in my probably my top 10 game series I've ever played. And I would love a Crisis 4. I just think that there is no, like, even with the remasters, I think that is more a way for Crytek to make some money, if anything else. Like, I don't think that indicates them being like, hey, we'll see how this goes, then we'll make another one. I don't think that's the mindset they had when they approached this. Like, I would love that to be true. I just don't think it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. Not saying you're wrong at all. I just think there's a chance. I think that the remasters give Crisis 4 a chance at like credibility or life or something. Yeah. I'm looking at the rest of the list here on Reddit just to see like everything that's here.
Yeah. I don't know why there's a difference between Mortal Kombat Next Gen and Mortal Kombat 12, or does that mean that they are remastering whatever the original Mortal Kombat for Next Gen, or does that just mean that there will be a Next Gen exclusive Mortal Kombat game, and then Mortal Kombat 12 will be coming to everything, probably besides Switch?
Possibly. No. I'm gonna say no to that, because maybe it means the next gen version of the current Mortal Kombat, and then a full-on Mortal Kombat 12 as like, you know, its own exclusive next gen thing.
Yeah,
you get what I mean? Because I doubt that they would be doing a remaster / remake of an original Mortal Kombat as well as Mortal Kombat 12. I mean, granted, of course, they don't do all these things at once, but you know, a remaster of an older Mortal Kombat game and Injustice 3 at the same time, if that's true. Like, I don't think they would be doing that. So I think it's just like, hey, Mortal Kombat 11 on next gen, Injustice, you know, at some point, and then Mortal Kombat 12 down the road. Speaking of Injustice 3, I've not played Injustice 2. I want to, only for the story. I don't care about doing multiplayer. I just want to for the story.
Yeah.
But if a third one happened, that would be interesting. I think that'd be cool. I don't know what happened in the story of 2, but I think it'd be cool, especially if like there are rumors that like Watchmen will be involved in it, ends up being real. And also because that would put that will pump the brakes on the not Mortal Kombat, on the NetherRealm Marvel game theories and rumors.
Yeah. I mean, I've played. I don't want to say a lot of Injustice 2 because I don't think I've played it for that long. I've played a bit of it with my friend. I can't remember any of the story for it though. But I would be interested in a third one. I actually quite enjoy Injustice. I think I enjoy Injustice more than I do Mortal Kombat.
I liked the first one a lot. Aquaman was my guy in the first one.
I'm trying to remember who I mained in Injustice 2. It had to be either Batman or Cyborg. Or actually, no, I think it was the Flash. Pretty sure it was the Flash.
See. Flash was another one I liked a lot too.
But yeah, that is all. Well, not all, but that is some of the most notable games from that leak.
One more.
Yeah.
That one being Fight for Middle Earth. Well, two more actually. Fight for Middle Earth being one of those, because the last one was Battle for Middle. Well, it was Shadow of Mordor, Battle for Middle Earth, I think, and then the second one was War for Middle Earth, right? Something like that.
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. So a third, like we haven't heard anything about a third Shadow of Mordor game at all. There hasn't been any indication that we would get a third one. So this being on there, I think is like, I think it signifies that we're going to be getting a third one. Yeah. Again, of course, these all be just prototypes, canceled, so on and so forth. But that name popping up here specifically, I think without like any prior like rumors or anything like that about its existence, I think that signifies something. That's a big deal. And then also, not for me, but I'm sure for other people, Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 HD. Yeah. I'm not a Metal Gear Solid person, but it's funny. The Reddit thing here says no shot, in my opinion. I just think it's funny that it's here. Also, real quick, I just noticed this one: Mario and Rabbids, as was Bayonetta 3. No chance. It's a Nintendo game. No, it's not happening. Get your head out the gutter, guys.
Yeah. I want to read a couple of paragraphs from an IGN article written by Wesley LeBlanc, just to give people a little context. In the doc, I said that there's four sections I was going to read. I think I'm just going to read the first one, the last one in here, just because I feel like that's probably the most relevant. But reading from the article by Wesley LeBlanc, saying, quote, what in the section called Nvidia's response to the Datamine, says, quote, on the surface, it seems that seemed that way, but now we know that it's not necessarily the case. Nvidia responded the following day on September 14th that the list of Datamine games were listings, quote, used only for internal tracking and testing, quote, and quote, adding that some titles included are, quote, speculative and don't constitute, quote, confirmation nor an announcement of any game, end quote. Nvidia said in a statement to IGN that it took immediate action to remove access to the internal list, and that, quote, no confidential game builds or personal information were exposed, quote, end quote. And then scrolling down a bit to a section called Making Sense of It All, reading again from the article. Speculation, leaks, and Datamine info aside, all of this adds up to one murky conclusion, though. Nvidia might know some things that are not currently public, and some of these games, be it ports, sequels, or brand new IP, might be real. It's just as probable that Nvidia is guessing based on what it's seen and heard, much like this piece speculates on things based on information out in the wild too. The reality of the situation is we'll likely never know. These listings might be a big look at unannounced games and ports that weren't meant to be seen by the public just yet. They might also be speculative guesses and placeholders. Quite literally, only time will tell, end quote. And that, I think, is a good sum up of this entire data mine, is take it with a grain of salt. Some of the things in this list are probably real. Some of them are most definitely not. So just don't get too hyped about, Crisis 4 just yet.
Yeah.
But some of these games, I'm sure, like, for the amount of games that are in here, I think some are at least real. They have to be.
Oh, yeah, for certain.
Yeah.
For certain. Like, again, the Kingdom Hearts 4 one, going back to that, because, it's my bread and butter and everything like that. I think, again, no one in the Kingdom Hearts franchise knows if 4 is the next game. given the way Melody of Memory ended, I'm not saying how, well, given the way Melody of Memory ended and Kingdom Hearts 3, you would expect that the very next one that's coming will be 4.
Yeah.
But at the same time, again, the series has also done spin-offs in between main like numbered titles and stuff like that. But I would imagine we'll be hearing about it either by the end of this year or next year, because next year is the 20th anniversary of the series. And Tetsuya Nomura, director and creator of the series, he's already said that, they're planning some big announcements for the 20th anniversary. So everyone is already expecting that we're going to be hearing about the future of the series next year.
Yeah.
So we'll have a better idea of whether the next one is Kingdom Hearts 4 or what's going on next in the series come next year. And we'll see what's up with that leak then.
Okay, moving on to our final news story of this week, which will be very brief because I don't imagine either of us will have a whole lot to say about any of this. The THQ Nordic Showcase was earlier this week. I think it was on the 14th. I can't remember off the top of my head.
It was near the end of the week.
Yeah. In which they showed off some games, not anything that I really have to talk about. Only one in here that I'm excited for, which is the first one, which is the Destroy All Humans 2 Reprobed, which is apparently a rework from the ground up of the game.
Ah, okay. I didn't realize it was like a whole a straight up ground up type thing for the second game. Interesting.
It's being developed exclusively for PC and next gen, so Series X and S and PS5.
That might explain why it's coming to next gen only in terms of consoles. As I saw that, I was like, that's interesting that they're not doing it for the other consoles. But I mean, fine, but also interesting. Given the game, I thought it would have been on PS4 as well. But if they're doing things from ground up on this, then I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. Outcast 2: A New Beginning is being developed exclusively for PC and next gen. It's also probably worth noting that none of these games have a release date. That's why we're skimming through them, because there's not really anything to talk about.
Got it. I don't know anything about Outcast. I will say when I saw like a headline about it, because I got like a little notification on my phone about it when this announcement was made. I was like, oh, okay. Because I literally thought it was Outlast 2. So I was like, oh, okay, Outlast 2 coming to PC and next gen. All right. It wasn't until later on where I read, I was like, Outcast 2. I was like, that doesn't look like, oh yeah, different. That's something different. I don't know what this is. Don't know what this is.
Yeah, neither do I. Honestly, I don't know what half the games on these lists are. Jagged Alliance 3 is being developed for PC. I do know something a little bit about this game, but only that Jagged Alliance 2 was released in 1999. So
okay, 22 years later.
Yeah, long time. Expeditions Rome is being developed exclusively for PC. MTX versus ATV Legends is being developed for Xbox One, Series X and S, PS5 and PS4, and PC. I have PS5 twice in there.
Real quick, I've never played a single MTX versus ATV game. I think it's just very surprising that this series is still kicking. This series has been around for a long time, a very long time, and I have never had any interest in those games. But hats off to them for just continuing to put out, more and more games. Good for them.
Superpower 3 is PC exclusive and will be available on Steam. Elix 2 is being developed for Xbox One, Series X and S, PS4, PS5, and PC. And SpongeBob SquarePants: The Cosmic Shake is being developed for Xbox One, Series X and S, PS4, PS5, Switch, and PC. So for everything. This is the only other one I think that I'm kind of interested in. I want to see what this game actually is because I have no idea. But I really enjoyed the trailer for it. I enjoyed it.
I haven't seen the trailer for it.
Enjoyed it. I enjoyed Mrs. Puff rocking out on guitar.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I didn't see the trailer for it, but I saw the announcement was made. Look, this game and Destroy All Humans are the only ones I've actually seen anyone talk about. Yeah. I've seen the headlines for all the others, but these are the only two I've seen people talk about. I'm just like, okay, those are the noteworthy ones. Got it.
Yeah. That was everything that was shown during the THQ Nordic Showcase. So overall, I would say not that eventful.
Although I think they announced that there's another 20 something games that they have to be announced at some point in time. That. So yeah, more coming down the pipeline in the future.
Yeah, I'm still holding out hope for a new Darksiders game.
Yeah, I wonder how long you're gonna be holding on to that hope, to be honest.
Yeah.
I really wonder.
That concludes our news for this week. That's all we have.
Yeah.
So we will move on to what we have been playing. Okay, I'll go first since I have one thing and I have about 5 words to say about it. I have been playing. No, I have
You got
been
more than
playing
5.
Assassin's Creed. 7 words. I have been playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey. That's it.
What do you have to? How much have you played? How far are you? What's going on in it? Tell me.
I am doing missions for Pericles in Athens. So,
I'm trying to
like,
remember how far into the game that is.
I've met Nikolaos. I have done the mission after that where you hunt someone down. I
Okay.
don't want to say who in case anyone spoils it. I've met the cult. And then I think that's when I went. Oh, and I've upgraded the spear.
Okay. So yeah. Okay. Yeah. You've done it. That's what I'm saying. You said I'm just like. I feel like that's a good chunk of the way through the game, story wise. Like you've done a fair amount of stuff there, dude. Don't just gloss over it like you've done nothing.
I mean, honestly, a large chunk of my time I've been synchronizing viewpoints because like I usually do that somewhat early on in the game as I just go around the map and synchronize all the viewpoints.
Yeah.
So that's where I've spent most of my time.
Okay. What did you choose to do when you met Nikolaos? Did you choose to be like, all right, see you later, or just
option A, I didn't kill him.
Okay. Interesting. That's what I chose as well.
Yeah. I was like, I don't want to, like, there's no point.
Okay, yeah. I chose that option too. I wonder what you'll do later on in the game then. I forgot the person you had to hunt down. Which wait a second.
Elpinor, I think his name is.
Elpinor?
The guy you meet on what's the island you start on?
Oh yeah, I know what island you're talking about.
Hey, I think.
Yeah, I know the island you're talking about. The island you start on. You have to hunt.
Yeah, he's
someone on that island.
No, he's the one who gives you the quest to go and kill Nikolaos. And then once you do that, you go back to Elpinor and you are like, oh, I did it. And then he betrays you and you have to hunt him down and kill him.
I think I remember that mission because it turns out he's part of the cult, right?
Yeah.
You find out.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. I do remember that. All right. What are you thinking of the story so far? Because you've gotten farther into it. You've met the cult. So now you know like who not their leader is, but like their figurehead is at all. What are you thinking of the story?
As soon as I saw him, I'm like, I bet you anything that's who I think it is. But it's good so far. I'm not enjoying it as much as Valhalla, but I think that's just because I'm
you
far
played Valhalla
more,
first.
I think because I played Valhalla first, and I'm massively more into Norse mythology than I am Greek. So
okay.
Not that I don't like it. I find Norse mythology more interesting. But
yeah,
I'm enjoying it so far. It's definitely not terrible. I took your advice. I turned the level scaling down. I turned the game to easy, and it's not done anything. Like I think my game's glitched in that it will not. Like everyone is still either my level or a level above me, even when I have it set to they should be 4 levels below me.
I wonder, like, how many side quests are you doing? Are you just like mainlining the story, or are you doing side quests as well?
No, I'm doing everything as I come across it. Side quests, main story, exploration.
Interesting. Because I was always like levels ahead of anywhere I needed to be in. Like any area I was in, because I did a bunch of side quests at the start of the game. Like whenever I would get to new areas, I would do some side quests and all. But like I was always at least 2 levels higher than whatever area I was in. Once I turned the level scaling like all the way down, I was just like, all right, easier for me in terms of just like, all right, I could actually feel like I'm getting stronger as opposed to just constantly being on the same level as everybody and stuff. That's interesting though.
Oh, one thing I'm not liking how fast I'm leveling up. I feel like it takes so much to gain a level. Because like I'm doing side quests, I'm doing main missions, I'm like
I'm sorry. You said you don't like how fast you're leveling up, and then you said I'm doing so much of this. I'm just like, so you're not leveling? You wait, what? You're not liking the speed, like how slow it is to level up.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
there you go.
Like for the amount that I'm doing, I feel like I should be leveling up faster, because like so the level scaling isn't working for me, like I said. And when like in the areas that I've been going to synchronize viewpoints in, like everyone has skulls on their heads. Like it's not even telling me a level. So
well, wait, what areas are you going to? Areas that are on the map higher than you?
Well, yeah, I'm going around like every area synchronizing viewpoints.
No, okay. So don't go to areas that are higher than you. They will still be higher than you. Go to areas that are in your level range. Then you'll be fine. If you go to areas that like on the map, because like every area on the map still has a set level. It's not like if you're level 10 and you go to an area that's level 20, they're going to drop down to level 8 and 10 for you. They're still going to be higher than you. That's still going to be the case. So you should still try to beat like the level. Okay. The level scaling works so that if you are in an area where you are in the correct level range for it, then the enemies will be in that level range that you're at, right? So if you are level 10 and you go to a level 10 to 12 area, the enemies in that area will be level 10 to 12. They should be level 10 to 12. If you are higher than that though, and like if you are over that 12, they won't be like, if you're over that level 12, if I'm correct, say you're level 16, they won't be any higher than I think 12 or 13. They're not going to be over your 16. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's clarified it for me, because like I've been in, like I'm currently level 12, I think, and I have been in a level 10 to 12 area, and everyone's been level 12 or level 11. And I'm just like, I thought Tyler said everyone was meant to be like 4 levels below me in this area.
No, if you go over, if I'm correct, because I'm trying to remember it correctly, but if you go over what the range is on the map for it, if you go over it, then the enemies will end up being scaled a bit below you. Okay, I believe that's how it's supposed to
that
be.
Makes more sense.
Yeah. No, yeah, because I was always over leveled in the game. So that made it like it just worked for me like that.
Yeah. I still hate the mercenary system.
Oh yeah, no, I still hate that too. It's annoying. Yeah. It's very annoying. Just avoid them when you're walking around the open world. It's easy to avoid them when you're doing that. But when you're doing a mission and just roll on in like, hey guys, that's annoying. I wonder, have you done more of the siege things? Have you done more of them, or have you stopped doing them?
I haven't done any more since I forget the name of the area, but I haven't done more since the one with Nicholas.
Okay. I was wondering because like they are so pointless. They don't do it. The only thing they do for you is get you like some type of gear. Other than that, like, yeah, you do it if you do it for Sparta takes over the area. But that doesn't do anything for you, in all honesty. It just means Sparta now controls the area. It's not like Spartans won't attack you when you're in the area now if you're wearing Spartan armor. It does nothing. Because literally, it's just like, okay, Sparta rules the area. Now, you could do all this again and get rid of the ruler again and do it again for Athens or Sparta again if you want to. Like, that's why after like 2 or 3, I just didn't do anymore because I was like, this is pointless. I'm doing it, but like, it's not benefiting me in any type of way to do this, aside from like maybe some experience and getting some gear if I want the gear. But other than that, like story-wise, gameplay-wise, does nothing for me. So I was like, I wonder if he's going to keep doing those or if he's just going to like stop. And I didn't want to say that last week, but you haven't done it anymore. So I'm like, I feel like I can say that now. I don't want to like influence you in terms of like certain things you did and whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, when I play games, especially games like, like open world RPGs like Assassin's Creed, I am someone who will try and mainline the story as much as possible and then go back and do all the side stuff. But because like I say, I'm not happy with the speed in which I'm leveling up, then I have been doing probably a lot more side stuff than I would have done at this point.
I'll say this much. You should not just because of the leveling, but just like also to break up the pacing, but also because like the story is going to take you to areas that will probably end up being higher level than you at the rate you're going at right now, from what it sounds like. So if you want to stay at level or over level, you need to do side quests. Yeah. So like definitely do side quests when you get to each region. Because what I would do was when I would get to a new region that I was supposed to be in, because I just went map by map, right? Like I would go to where I needed to go for the story. And along the way, if I was going to like, say I'm going to one island where the main story continues, right? As I'm going there, I would do like, if I saw another island along the way that was in my level range, I would stop there. Do the viewpoints there, do some side quests there, and then keep on moving, keep on going about my business, right? I feel like doing that, it gives you more experience, obviously, gets you more skills to use in combat, and levels you up more so that when you get to the area, especially with the level scaling, you should be higher than whatever the level is at the next mainline story area. Like I promise you, you're gonna want to do side quests. Don't mainline the story. You cannot and should not mainline the story in this. You're gonna end up just being frustrated with like certain events, like certain story fights and everything like that. Do side quests, like stop in town, like go to each of the question marks, obviously, see what their side quests are. Stop in some of the towns and do like go to their little board or whatever and pick up some of their quests. You know, do side quests.
Yeah, that is my thoughts on Assassin's Creed Odyssey so far.
Okay, cool. Curious to see if you play this week, if you do like where you end up in it in terms of the story.
Yeah.
Come next time and we would talk about it and stuff like that. All right. So what I've been playing over here, like I said, this week I didn't really get to play too much because I was working on the website, and the things I wanted to play, I couldn't really play the way I wanted to. So it's just like kind of didn't really play too much. I'll start with the one I have the least to say about, and that's Deathloop. As we said earlier, it's been getting all these rave reviews and stuff, which is super great for the game. I got it the day it came out, and I played it some that night. And what I played that night is all I've gotten to play for this week. I played for, I guess, about an hour and a half, I would guess, maybe. I didn't look at my time on my PS5, but I'm just guessing that's how much I played. I'm still in like the beginning of the game because the game starts and like the game starts and you are doing the first mission, really. All right, let me rephrase all this. The game starts and you are in your first loop, right?
Yeah.
You're in your first loop. The tutorial takes place during this first loop. So the entire first loop is a tutorial. I am like halfway through the first loop because I've just been taking my time and trying to, understand how the game works, see how different things work, so on and so forth. But again, just haven't had much time to play and all like that. But in that small amount of time that I have played, I can say a couple things. I am liking this game. I don't want to say a lot, but I'm liking this game. This tutorial type area section of the game, it is very linear though, in terms of like how it moves you through the story and everything. Like the areas are like, just like a Dishonored, like there's all these buildings, you can go inside different buildings and stuff like that. The level design is there for the open nature of it all, but it's linear in terms of like, all right, you're not, how when they previewed the game and everything, they're telling you you could choose between which of the areas you want to go to or which time of day. It's linear in the sense that's like, all right, you're going to go to this area at this time of day. Now you did this objective here. All right, now you're going to go to this area next, and then you're going to do this thing here. So that's what it's kind of taking me through right now. And as it takes you through it teaches you about the different, different weapons that you have, different weapon rarities, abilities, how you can like mark enemies and like see what type of weapons they have, see what their ability is, about hacking objects and stuff like that. You have a tool that you can use that lets you open doors, like hack open doors, or like hack turrets or cameras to work for you instead, or turn them off entirely.
Yeah.
It's like teaching you these different things about the game through the tutorial, and it's doing it well. It's doing it fine. But because this section is like really linear, I'm not at that point where I'm just like, I'm not feeling that, oh yeah, this is the game of the year type status
Yeah.
game, which is one thing I saw other people say during the week, where the people were like, yeah, I'm like 2 or 3 hours in or something like that, and I'm still not really feeling or seeing, the game of the year-esque nature of the game. Like, when am I going to get there? I want to get to that point. I'm hoping I can get to that point, because like they're saying, like, it's still fun before you get to that game of the year, like that point where you're like, oh yeah, this is something special, something different. Yeah. It's still fun before that, but it's not like the mind-blowing, oh my gosh, I'm having so much fun with this. Like, I feel so powerful and all like that. So I still have to get to that point, saying all that, like, with this context in mind. So I am liking it, just not at that point yet with the game. But what I will say I really, really like is Colt and Juliana. In the PlayStation State of Play that had like 8-9 minutes of gameplay, we saw, like, raw gameplay and like their banter and everything. And there I was like, yo, I really like this. Their banter in this, like actually playing the game, their banter and stuff, it's really cool. It adds just like a whole another level of dynamic to the game, and it adds something, specifically Colt being voice acted. It adds something to the game that was missing from Prey and Dishonored. Because Prey, I only played like maybe 2 hours of Prey. I didn't really vibe with that much. But in that game, your character didn't talk, as far as I know from what I played. In Dishonored 1 and 2, your character also never talked. The character you play as, they're just silent protagonists and all like that. So while the story was in those games was still good, there's a level of disconnection from the player character and from Emily and Corvo from the rest of the characters, because you're not actively talking with them at all. You're not really getting attached to Corvo or Emily as characters. You're getting attached to the other people, and you're just like, I'm them and I'm just doing these things and all like that. Yeah. Whereas Colt, he wakes up and the start of the game, he wakes up on the beach after he died. Like, the game starts with you dying from a loop, right? Like, in first cutscene, you die in a loop and you wake up on the beach. And then he gets up and he turns around and he's like, oh man, what the heck? What the fuck? And like the way he says the thing, it's just like, it's really funny. It adds like a whole nother level of personality and comedy to everything he's saying as he walks around. He's like, code? What code? What do you mean I know a code? I don't know a code. And it's just like, it just adds so much character that it's just like, oh, you know what? Colt's really cool. I really like him. And just having him be able to talk, again, just adds another level to the character. It allows me to be more attached to him and care about him so much more. Throwing Juliana and her dynamic, the way she's talking with him and stuff, it's just like, it's really cool. There's a part where he's talking and he's like, what did I do to you? I'm paraphrasing, right? He's like, what did I do to you? And she says something. He's like, what? He's like, we dated, didn't we? We dated in the past, didn't we? And then like she says something, she tosses him down and then leaves. He's like, yeah, we totally dated. It's just like little things like that. It brings so much more life and personality to the characters and the relationships. So I'm just like, I really like this. I'm vibing with them a whole lot. In terms of gameplay, again, I can't speak to it too much because I don't have any of the powers at all. Yeah. But literally tutorial point in the game where I don't have any of the powers. I just have the little SMG and my machete. I don't have anything all that crazy to really talk about in gameplay. But I'm liking what I've done so far. The game looks good. It has 3 different graphics modes. Performance mode, which is, I believe, it's a dynamic 4K at 60 FPS. Then there's visual quality, which is 4K, but not, it's 4K 30 or I think 4K 60, but no ray tracing. And then there's the ray tracing mode, which is 30 FPS, 4K ray tracing. I've been doing it with that mode, but I might switch to the performance mode because it defaults to performance mode when you start the game. Yeah. I might default to that though, because the 30 FPS, I'm about to get real Digital Foundry here. Because I've seen enough Digital Foundry videos to know what they mean when they say this. The frame pacing does not feel good at 30 FPS.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't watched their video, but when you play it, it just doesn't feel all that good in the 4K ray tracing mode with the 30 FPS lock. So like, it's playable, it's fine, but it doesn't feel or look just right. It just looks a tad bit off, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So like I play with it like that for a bit, but I think when I go back and keep on playing, I'm gonna just switch to performance mode, do a 60 FPS like that. And honestly, I might, like I told you yesterday, I might just restart the game because I'm so early on, and it teaches you a lot of stuff at a fair pace. It's not bombarding you all at once, but because of all the things it's teaching me, I might just delete my save and restart the game because I want to. When I jump back into it to play it, I want to like be able to sink a good amount of time into it to actually relearn the things about the game, how the gameplay works, the mechanics, the world, so on and so forth, instead of just like a 45-minute session here, 30 minutes there, something. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to be able to sink a good amount of time into it. So because of that, I probably won't play this game again for like another 2 weeks or so, because this weekend I want to try to get through Life is Strange True Colors. I might play some of the Vanguard beta as well. Probably will play more of the Vanguard beta over the weekend as well, like at nighttime while I'm on the phone.
Yeah.
And then Kena comes out on Tuesday. I want to play Kena. What I heard is a short game, or it seems like it might be a short game. So I want to play Kena, and I might do not even might. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do a review of Kena for the channel. So I'm gonna play that next week, and that'll probably be like what I play during the week, and then do the review over the weekend and stuff.
Yeah.
So it might be some time before I actually get back to Deathloop. So that being said, most likely will not talk about it on the show next week. I will most likely be talking about Kena on the show next week and Life is Strange True Colors because I will hopefully have beaten it by then. So that's where I am with Deathloop. I'll have more to report on that in a few weeks. And I saw your face when I was mentioning Kena. You were getting mad, and I'm sorry. It is what it is, though. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I want to play that game so badly.
I hope it's good because as far as I know, review codes for that game did not go out. So from what I've heard, like as of I think it was Thursday or Friday, as of Thursday or Friday, reviewers did not have review codes for that game from what like people have said.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping it's a good game. I'm really hoping it is because it looks really good. It looks really nice and cool. Fingers crossed it actually sticks the landing. So that's my report on Deathloop. Call of Duty Vanguard, second game I played this week. Played the beta for about an hour and a half last night. Now, how much I played enough where I'm level 7. I have character customization, like create a class available and stuff like that. Haven't unlocked too many weapons. So yeah, I played a couple matches. First match we're seeing here is on this map, Hotel Royale, doing domination. And as you saw, there's on the screen, there's a thing called combat pacing that you can choose. When you're picking your playlist or your map, like what you want to play it all. The combat pacing, there's tactical, assault, and blitz. Tactical, it's like smaller player count for whatever mode you're in. So it's like normal 6v6 type gameplay, right? So smaller player count for whatever the mode you're in makes it more intimate and stuff. Assault is kind of like a somewhat aggressive. It's like a balance between the smaller player count and the blitz, where it's like 8v8 or something like that. You know, it's a fair middle ground. You know, keeps things active. You know, not too slow paced, not too fast paced.
Yeah.
And then there's the blitz pacing, which basically bumps the player count up to the highest it could be for whatever mode you're playing. And it's just like constant activity. It's constant, just craziness, hecticness, all that like that. So this one, it's the tactical. So I think this was a 6v6 domination match on this map. This was a match I did. This wasn't one of my first matches, but I'd already been playing for a bit at this point. Maybe like 30, 45 minutes at this point. I had adjusted to the game. Because again, I haven't played Call of Duty since like way earlier this year, if not like last year. So it is a World War II game, of course. And it's what I can say about this game based on what I played is that it is fine. It is a fine Call of Duty. It's off the Modern Warfare engine, so it looks really good. Doesn't look the best. I think that might be because again, it's beta. But like this environment, this map, I loved the look of this map so much. Like graphically, it's a beautiful map. The exteriors and the interiors look really nice. The weapons, they sounded fine. they don't sound like as great as the ones in Modern Warfare, but I'm chalking it up to the fact that they're World War II weapons. But they sound better than Black Ops Cold War. Again, it's the Modern Warfare engine. The Modern Warfare engine is just better than the Black Ops Cold War one. So there's that. Again, like the weapons look good, things look good, they sound fine, and all like that. But it just wasn't hitting the way Modern Warfare did for me. And again, part of that is because it's a World War II game, and I kind of did not really into a World War II game right now. Not to say the game is bad, it's just fine. So like like I said, I played up to a certain point. I'm gonna do some more. I didn't play a whole lot, so I didn't do too much messing around with customization because I didn't unlock too much customization wise. I think this match might have been before I was even level 4 to do create a class. But Gunsmith is back. You can put up to like 10 attachments on a weapon and all like that. You have all your different perks there and stuff. I didn't do too much with the perks, everything. The perks they have there, they don't, interestingly enough, Scavenger wasn't a perk. And typically that is, which I was interested by. I was very surprised by that too. But yeah, so let's see, one point that they have here that they've mentioned in this game is the destructible environments that they have going on. And they're fine for like this very start of a match. After the start of a match, the destructible environments kind of like don't really matter much at all, because it's like, you can start the match and you have these boarded up walls that you could like break to like make a tiny opening and shoot through, or like there's like glass windows that you can shoot at to to kind of make a little opening for yourself and hide behind and all like that. And it's cool at first, but after like a few minutes of the match, like it's all destroyed. So then it becomes a standard Call of Duty map at that point in time. But again, like it's a fine touch that it's simply fine. And it doesn't really affect much on this map, but like a bigger example of it is on this other map, Eagle's Nest, which is a smaller map. And like the central point of the map is like there's a building, this house or whatever. And on both sides, there's like boarded up walls that you can knock down. But they end up destroyed literally within like the first minute or two of a match. After that, it's just a standard Call of Duty map from that point on. So like, again, everything about the game is just fine. It's not bad. It's not great. It's fine at worst, good at best. It carries over because it's the Modern Warfare engine. It carries over some of like the bad things about Modern Warfare, such as the spawns. The spawns in this were like, as you see, the spawn system like in this is the exact same as in Modern Warfare. When you die, and like it has the overhead of the map and then drops you down to wherever you were before. To where it's respawning you. But not in this first match. This like all the footage I have here, it's 2 separate matches. We're probably not going to get to the second match, but we could skip ahead to. I can tell you the point in time where the second match starts. We'll do that in a moment. But like in the second match I was playing, there's a point where like I died, spawned, and I'm not joking. The entire enemy team spawned directly behind me. Like I spawned, and then I had high alert on, right? The perk that that lights up yellow on the screen wherever enemy is looking at you. So I spawned, took 2 steps forward, it turned yellow behind me. I turn around, I get shot and killed, obviously by one person. I'm not joking. Like 5 people from the enemy team ran out behind me from the one room I was in. I was like. So I posted it on Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter, you can check it out there. And I was just like, LOL, I see the Modern Warfare spawns that's still living on or something like that. It's like, it was terrible. It was terrible. So like, that is another thing. Just spawning directly in plain sight of enemies or like really, really close to enemies where it's like, why am I spawning here? Why am I here? It's like that, that's a classic Modern Warfare issue. The time to kill from what I played, there are some instances where it seemed like I'm just dying right away. Some instances where I was just like, I should have had you. But at the same time, as you could probably see in this footage, like the game was lagging for me at points. like pretty consistently throughout.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Part of that I imagine was my internet, because my brother was here, so he was playing, I don't know, Destiny or Titanfall on his Xbox. It wasn't just me playing on the internet and all like that. So I'm chalking it up to that, but I'll chalk some of it also up just to the game itself, because I went on Reddit last night. I was reading people's opinions, and I saw some people saying that they were getting packet burst constantly, which is what you see keep it popping up on the screen for me. So I was like, all right, that's not just me then.
No.
So yeah, like the game was lagging for me some, which I'm sure definitely contributed to a number of my deaths. Some of them I definitely should have died from. But as a whole, it's a fine game, which is why like I'm 80% on whether or not I'm going to get it, because I'm going to keep playing some more over the weekend. The beta keeps going on this whole weekend. I'm sure you'll probably play, so we'll be able to talk about it some more with you next week too.
Yeah.
But like if I got this game, I would not stick with this multiplayer. I would play the multiplayer for maybe a month and then stop. And that's assuming I wasn't totally like infatuated with Battlefield's multiplayer by the time that comes out, whenever it comes out. I mean, it's coming out November 19th is what they said, right? I forgot when COD Vanguard is coming out. I forgot when Vanguard's coming out. So like
November 8th, 4th.
Oh yeah, so a week or like 2-3 weeks at best, something like that. November 4th or 8th sounds right though. So like,
nope, November 5th.
November 5th. So yeah, not much time between the two games. So like I don't want to get the game and like spend 150 gigs on this game.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the campaign, and then for me to play multiplayer for all of 2 weeks and then be like, all right, I'm out. Like that just seems like a waste of time and money and space for me. So that's why I'm like 80% not gonna get this. But part of me, I'm gonna keep playing the beta and see if it like changes my tune on things a bit. It makes me more likely to get it. But I think this year will be the very first year where I skip a Call of Duty game, which is actually very surprising. I've never skipped one since Modern Warfare 2. I've bought every one since Modern Warfare 2 came out. This will be the first one I skipped. In the second match, real quick, that's actually popping up, is one of the new modes they have in the game called Patrol, which is basically, it's like Hardpoint, except the Hardpoint's constantly moving. So
interesting.
This match was, I think this was with blitz pacing. Yeah, this is with blitz pacing. So I think it's like 24v24 match on this map. And I think all the matches I did on this map were blitz pacing. It's like you see here, these are the things that, well, you might be ahead of me, but like you saw us run through some of the wooden cardboard walls and stuff. Like you run right through it, or you just like punch a little hole in it. But like we ran right through it. Those are gone. It doesn't come back.
Yeah.
It's like these are gone literally the first 10 seconds of the match starting. So yeah, Patrol is basically Hardpoint, except the Hardpoint is constantly moving. As long as someone's on it, you're getting points and everything. And it's a fun mode. I liked it. It's different from regular Hardpoint, regular domination.
Yeah,
I guess you could say it's kind of like what's the mode from Overwatch where the thing is where you got to move the point.
Payload.
I forgot what it's Payload. Yeah, I guess you could say it's somewhat like Payload, except it's constantly moving. Like it doesn't have an endpoint destination. Like it just constantly moves around the map. It's nice when you look at the mini map. It shows you where it is, and it shows you the direction that it's moving in on the mini map. That way you don't have to like guess which way it's gonna go or anything like that. You could know, all right, it's moving forward right now, and it's about to make a left turn. So let me try and cut around on me and like come at it from the front. It was cool. I liked this mode a fair amount actually. I will say the maps. I didn't really speak about the maps too much. The maps, again, continuing the trend of just being fine. They're fine. Visually, none of them that I played were like standouts. I think I liked this map and the hotel map from the first clip the most visually, just because the first one just looked beautiful with the lighting and the interiors and everything. It looked really nice. In this one, I like just the look of we're on this we're on this beach. We got the boats on the edge. We got the big boat in the middle. Like visual, I just like the look of it, color wise and everything. But the other map that I talked about, where Eagle's Nest, that map, it's a fine looking map. It doesn't stand out in any type of way though, visually. And then there's another map we played on. I think it might have been two other maps I played on, but one of them, I forgot what it's called. It's a snow map. It's a big snow map. And there's like this building that you can go inside and like post up in with snipers and everything. That's a camp fest. Dear God. I played on that map, I think once, maybe twice. And I was like, ooh, either I'm not going to like this map. Because when I played on that map, it was with blitz pacing. So, full 24v24. And that definitely contributed to it being like, oh boy, this ain't the best experience right now. But I'll have to play on it some more to get a real feel for like what I think of that map as a whole. The weapons, again, I didn't really get to try too many weapons, but they all felt just fine. Yeah. I think this game's biggest sin, and I don't know if it's something I just now realized, but this year playing it, and I think it was when I was playing this match, I was like, maybe they should have just like with last year, just not done a Call of Duty this year and just let Modern Warfare have a third year on its own. Yeah. Like, because Modern Warfare, again, for all my gripes with Modern Warfare, like I hated the spawn system in that game with a passion. I hated how playing that game basically became a second job in a sense. We're actually about to see the clip. Well, actually, no, we're not. No, we're not. I thought we were about to see the part where I like spawned right in front of like 5 different people. We're not just yet. It actually comes closest to the end. It comes like 2 minutes or so. But for the issues I had with Modern Warfare, that was still a really good game, and I still had a lot of fun with it, right? And it felt like something fresh and new for the series. Yeah. Even though it's Modern Warfare again, and it's returned to these characters in this world in a sense, in a rebooted way, it felt new and it felt fresh. Whereas Black Ops Cold War, it wasn't that great as a game. You could tell it had a rushed development and all like that and stuff. It just wasn't all that fun. It was like, man, Modern Warfare should have gotten another year, instead of getting another year of like, time to do stuff. And this game, I think it might have had more development time than Cold War, maybe. I know Sledgehammer was originally working with Raven on, what was going to be last year's game, but then Treyarch stepped in. So who knows? Maybe this game was made in just a year. Maybe they, had more time to work on this. Who knows? But this game, like it feels, again, this game, I enjoy it more than I did Cold War for what I played of Cold War. But I still don't like this more than Modern Warfare. Part of it is, again, because it's a World War II game, and I just kind of don't want to play a World War II game. But part of it, again, also comes back to just the feel of things. Like, again, these are World War II weapons, but even though it's in the Modern Warfare engine, they feel like they lack the power and oomph of the Modern Warfare guns. So there's that. There's the fact that, like, there's a lot of things in it just seem like straight up, I don't want to say ripped from Modern Warfare, but it's like very, very similar to Modern Warfare. Like the gunsmith system, I guess, is very similar, but I mean, that was also in Cold War. I don't know. There was just a lot with it where I was just like, man, I kind of just, this doesn't feel like fresh or new. It feels like a stopgap. Yeah. In a sense. Not a very fun and enjoyable stopgap. Just like all right, just pass the time, I guess, type of thing. And all, I don't know. It just didn't hit for me the way that playing a Call of Duty game normally does. Normally, I play a Call of Duty game like whether it's a beta or whatnot, and I'm having fun with it. I'm enjoying it, and enjoying this more than Black Ops Cold War. But even still, just like, yeah, it's fine, I guess. Would much rather not be this, but it's something.
Yeah, the first year I skipped was last year. Didn't buy Cold War. Didn't want. Oh, your leg just flew off. Yeah, didn't buy Cold War. Didn't want to. It looks like this is going to be the exact same way. This just does not look that fun to me. Like, yes, it looks like a Call of Duty game. It's World War II, and I can't stand it. I don't like it. Infinite Warfare and Advanced Warfare were really, really good COD games to me. That's what I want them to go back to, as much as I know they're not going to because of the backlash they got. But like, I wish they would do something different, something new, because this isn't new. This is the exact same experience you would get if you went back and played Call of Duty World War II. Well, maybe not the exact same, but like, you get what I mean, right? Like,
kind of, sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
Aesthetically and all, it's similar.
Yeah. I don't enjoy games set in this time period. This doesn't look interesting to me. This doesn't look fun.
Right. What's got real quick on the video?
What was that?
What time are you at in the video?
17:42.
Okay. Because I think you are about to see the part where I die right away. Yeah. Hold on. It's literally about to happen.
Yeah, the entire fucking enemy team.
The entire enemy team right behind me. Just like, what? How and why?
Oh,
how and why? Like, that happened. I was just like, seriously? Seriously?
Yeah, no thank you.
Yeah, it was at that point where I almost just like, after that happened, I was like, yo, I'm about to just delete this off the system right now. I almost deleted it off the system because I was like, bro, that was actually terrible. But I didn't. Yeah, it's a fine game. Yeah, I think that's like a good summation of it. It is just fine. It's not bad. But if you weren't into World War II already, playing the beta, I doubt is going to like change your mind or opinion on this year's game. I doubt it's gonna make you be like, oh yeah, actually Vanguard's awesome. Like, it's fine. And like you were saying, what you said about the futuristic games, as I play this, I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, like the futuristic games were the best thing that happened to Call of Duty, but also the worst thing.
Yeah.
They were the best in the sense that the series has never been more fresh than that, but the worst in the sense that because of the reaction, we're never gonna get those games again.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
I wish we would.
Yeah.
I wish we would.
I mean, I'm still gonna play the beta just because I want to try it for myself. But
yeah, definitely.
I am like it's not gonna change my mind. Like it's not.
Yeah, I felt the same way going in and playing it. I was like, all right, not changing my mind much, but not a bad way to pass the time right now.
Yeah.
You know, I'm enjoying it. So we talked about Call of Duty Vanguard for 20 minutes. You know, game developed by Activision. Well, developed by Settle Shaman Games, published by Activision. The company who we talked about earlier is being sued by a bunch of different people, by employees and the state of California for terrible workplace practices, sexual discrimination, sexual harassment, all types of terrible, horrible things. Always keep that in mind when you talk about Call of Duty Vanguard or any Blizzard game or Activision game. But a way better game than that, that I enjoyed so much when I played it Saturday. I only managed to do one episode. I was going to do episodes 2 and 3 on Sunday, but I was working on this website, so I didn't get to. Life is Strange 2 Colors. I have video footage. I was going to put it in here, but I was like, nah, we're fine. We're fine, really. It's okay. Life is Strange True Colors is such a great game already. I've only done one chapter and I'm already enjoying it more than I did 2. That's not to say I didn't like 2. Again, I liked 2 overall. The story was interesting. The story was interesting and compelling. The supporting characters were all like really interesting characters I really liked, but like I just could not be attached to Daniel and Sean, the leads, the 2 brothers. Like their story, what was happening with them was interesting and compelling, but like I wasn't attached to them. Like they annoyed, like I couldn't find myself to care too much about them. Part of that was because Daniel was annoying. Part of it was because Sean, the brother you play as, his voice acting was just kind of like boring and like uninteresting in a sense. So I just wasn't all that attached to them. True Colors though, immediately from the very start of this game, one, it's gorgeous, it's beautiful. Maybe I should have put some video in here. I'll probably send you some video for this actually, because you know I'm thinking, it's beautiful. The game looks really great. Best looking Life is Strange game, of course, so far to date. And the characters right away from the jump, I automatically like fell in love with Alex Chen. She was a foster child. She was split up from her brother Gabe when they were younger, and now she is coming to this town where he lives, Haven Falls, I believe is what it's called. She's coming there to live with him, and they're being reunited after 8 years. So like they've grown and changed so much over this time and everything. And right away when they meet each other, you just feel you feel the familial bond, even though they haven't been around each other for so long. Even though you're just now meeting Gabe yourself, like you immediately feel the connection that they have. You immediately are like, oh man, I like this guy. I like the relationship that they have right now. It's cool. It's nice. And then you meet all the other characters in the town. You meet Gabe's girlfriend. I forgot her name. Charlotte, I believe was her name. You meet his girlfriend and her son. And you see the relationship that they have with Gabe and the relationship that they build with you right away. Like you connect with her son over comic books, over like comic book series that he reads. And then he's like, yeah, I'm actually making a comic. And he shows it to you. And you're just like, oh man, it's so cool. You meet one of his friends that works in he's a ranger, but he's also like in this record store right now when you meet him. And you meet him and you get introduced to him and Steph from Before the Storm. You get introduced to her here, and you kind of you learn more about Gabe and like the music that he likes, the music that you all liked, and the music that Alex liked as a kid and everything like that growing up, what she's into now. You meet his boss at his job at this bar that he works at in the town. He's a real cool guy. It's like all the characters that you meet immediately are just so likable, and there's clearly like a history between everyone, like relationships that are clearly built, that are interesting, deep relationships. But I was just like, you're a cool person. I like you. I'm interested. I want to know more about you. I want to know more about you and what's your relationship with this person, so on and so forth. He does such a good job of making you care about people that you meet within minutes of meeting them. And that was something that Life is Strange 2, for me, I struggled with. I struggled caring about Daniel and Sean. I cared about what happens to them, don't get me wrong. But like the characters themselves, like who they were, I didn't really care about who they were and all like that. I didn't really care too much about the things that they were interested in. And I'm not really too sure why. I think, again, part of it might be due to the voice acting, the way the characters were developed and stuff, but I didn't really care too much about them as people. I just cared about what happens to them in the course of the story. Whereas the original Life is Strange, I cared about the characters as people. I cared about Chloe and Max and as who they were, not just what happens in the story, but who they were start to finish. I cared about, in Before the Storm, Rachel and Chloe and their friends and who they were as people and what happened to them.
Yeah.
So Life is Strange True Colors, it's now coming back to that, where immediately, I don't just care about what happens to you in the story. I care about you as a person, who you are. I want to know more about you. I want to know all your different interests and so on and so forth. And because of that, like, I just knew, I'm just like, this could surpass the first game for me in terms of like how much my ranking of the series. Before the Storm is number 2 for me. Life is Strange 2 obviously at the bottom, but after just one chapter, but True Colors is already like, I can tell it has a potential to surpass number 1. Like the writing is just all there. Then there's the emotion power that you have, where you can see people's emotions that they're feeling, and you can like you end up feeling it yourself. So when you're walking around, also with the DualSense, like there's a bit of resistance when you're like going into feel. It feels cool. It feels nice. Like the trigger kind of vibrates a bit when you're like in the emotion mode, trying to like sense other people's emotions and things like that. So like you can like, you see what certain people's emotions feel like. If they're feeling it really strongly, then you see it, and then you can like move in and like hear their thoughts, hear what they're thinking about like the emotion that they're in. So for example, someone was scared or nervous, and you go into their thoughts, and they're like, man, everyone's counting on me. I can't let them down. I can't let them down about this.
Yeah.
And it's at a pretty high stakes moment. So like getting that, it allows you to understand that character more and feel for them more, understand why they, what's going through their head more than you already did. When you're angry, there's a part in the story where this guy comes in and he's pissed. He's pissed at Gabe, and they start fighting. And Alex, because he's feeling the emotion so strongly, Alex, she's like, oh no. She's trying to resist letting the emotion take her over, because that's what happens when people feel these emotions so strongly. If she's around them, it can end up taking over her, and then she feels it and then lets it out.
Yeah.
And she ends up not being able to fight it, and she ends up letting it out. It just takes over and then she lets it out, and it's a major sequence when it happens. I'm not saying specifics of what happens in the sequence. Obviously, it's a story heavy game and all like that. But like in that moment, and then the consequences of the aftermath of that, it's all just like, oh man, like you did that because of this. I wonder how that impacted your relationship with this person and that person, and so on and so forth. It's all so interesting and so freaking good, man. So good. And obviously, like this isn't a spoiler because all the trailers and promotion for this game has made it clear what the crux of the story is. The crux of the story is you come to the town, you meet people, you reunite with your brother Gabe, and then Gabe dies. And the rest of the game is kind of dealing with that grief and kind of unraveling other mysteries that are happening in the town. So this is not a spoiler when I say that Gabe dies in episode 1. He dies at the end of the episode. That's not a spoiler at all. I'm not spoiling how he dies, but he dies in the first episode.
Yeah.
So like in the moment when it happened, because like you know what's gonna happen. You know it's gonna happen at some point during this episode. And as you get closer to the end, you're just like, I'm just like, I don't want this to happen. I want him to stick around. I want to, spend more time with him. I want Alex and Gabe to, get to bond more. They have such a heartwarming, sweet moment in the game, in the episode, where they have a dance. Well, you can choose to like have a dance party with them, they're listening to music and they're doing air guitar and jumping around and everything. And it's so nice to see them do this. Like this brothers and sister that have been separated for years just come back together. Like, it's like they haven't missed a beat in a sense. So like the whole time it's like, I don't want this to happen. I don't want him to go. I want him to stick around. All of you know it's going to happen. And then it happens. And it's just like, damn, that happened. And I'm really curious, like what the next couple episodes are going to be like in terms of other characters. How are they handling it? How is Alex handling it? How are the other people that were there when it happened? How do they handle it? The people who, his girlfriend and his girlfriend's son, how are they taking it? I'm really curious to see what's going to happen from here on in. So that's why I'm really going to play that this weekend. I want to try to get through 2 episodes today and 2 episodes tomorrow. If I do that, I'll be done with it by end of Sunday. That's my goal. Which is why definitely just not happening this weekend. It's just not going to. Yeah. But yeah, man, this game, I said this when it was first announced. I was all in on it from that first trailer.
Yeah.
It looked beautiful. I was all in on the characters and the story just from the trailer. Just in that first trailer, I was already attached to the characters and stuff and the story. After playing this first episode, I just know. I don't want to say I know, but it just has such a strong potential to surpass the first one as my favorite. It really does. And I hope it does. And I'm not gonna say I think it will, but I hope it does. I really, really do, because there's just so much good here. Also, Alex is bae. Alex Chen is just bae. Got she is. This is me getting real, I guess ooh, but she's super cute. I can't deny that. I'm not gonna sit here and deny that. She's cute. She is bae, and that is all I'm gonna say on that. Just Alex is awesome. She's awesome.
Tyler's crush is gonna round out the 25th episode of the Play to Win podcast. Thank you all very much for watching. Just as a reminder, we're launching a website alongside this episode. So head over to playtowingames.wordpress.com. Again, the link will be in our Twitter bio, Instagram bio. We'll post it on Twitter, Instagram, all that jazz. Go and check out the website. Is a good site, we think.
Yes, it is. It's a good site. Looks good. It's
Yeah.
functional. Go check it out.
Also, remember to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Play to Win Game, where you will get updates on the show, any random stuff that we post, anything like that. While you're watching here on YouTube, remember to subscribe and tick the notification bell so you never miss a video, and subscribe and comment on podcast services. Tyler, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Tyler Miller 2496. Tweet about, all types of things. Again, games, movies, anime. I like and retweet a bunch of things. My Hero Academia to do episodes out today. I need to watch that. I just remembered that. So yeah, tweet about all types of things. I post my screenshots, some games and all. If you are an audio listener and you want to see that clip that I mentioned from Call of Duty Vanguard beta, just go to my Twitter. I posted it. It's there. It's funny. If you were watching the video, if you were watching the podcast, you will have seen the clip, while we were talking about the game. But if you're just on Twitter, you just want to check it out, or if you're on audio but you want to check it out, go to my Twitter. It's funny. It's genuinely funny. Again, like I die, just walk out, and then 5 people just spawn behind me. I'm just like, seriously? Seriously? Come on now.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at badlynet, BADLYNET, all one word. I've been using the photo mode in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, so I'll most likely be posting some screenshots of that.
Nice. I only use it for like 3 or 4 pictures. After that, I was like, didn't take any more pictures. So at that point, I was like, I'm annoyed with this game. I just want it done.
Yeah, I think I've actually taken 3 or 4 so far.
So you're at the same point as me.
Yeah. Thank you all very much for listening, and we will see you all next week.
Have a great one, guys.